If God has been better than good to you, I need you to just open up your mouth wherever you are and just start blessing him. Start giving him glory because he's a good God. I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praises shall continually be in my mouth. No matter what I see or how I feel, as long as I'm breathing, oh yes, I'm breathing, I'll bless the Lord. As long as I'm breathing, oh yes, I'm breathing, I'll bless the Lord. You were created for this moment. I need you to sound off with us if God has been good to you. Let's go right here, everybody. Say, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praises shall continually be. No matter what I see, no matter what I see. Say, as long as I'm breathing, and oh yes, I'm breathing. If you got breath in your body, tell them again. As long as I'm breathing, oh yes, I'm breathing. That's what we were created for. Tell them, oh magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt, yeah. Let's exalt his name. Together, let's lay down our crowns today. We come to do it together. Come on, let's join together and tell them, let's do it together. Let's do it together. Come on, put your hands on it. Father, we love you today. Be glorified. Let's raise it again. I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praises shall continually be in mine. No matter what I see, no matter what you see, it doesn't matter how you feel, you still have an obligation to bless his name. As long as I'm breathing, oh yes, let's do it together. Oh, magnify the Lord. Come on, let's get on one accord today. Hey, let us exalt his name together. Let's lay down our crowns today. We humble ourselves in your presence today, God. Let's do it together. Everybody raise it and say, let's do it together. Can we say it one more time? Everybody tell them. Oh, magnify the Lord. Let us exalt, yeah. You deserve it today, Jesus. Let's lay down our crowns. We humble ourselves. We lay down our titles for you. We come to do it together. I need you today, new birth. Come on. Let's do it together. Let's go. Hey, let's do it together. Let's do it together. I don't know where you're watching from. Tell them, let's do it together. Let's do it together. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. I need you to join us right here. Let's raise this together. Tell them, say, you've been better than good to me. Say, you've been better than good to me. I'm only talking to those who have tasted. You've been better than good to me. If you've tasted and seen, tell them, you've been better than good to me. Let's break it up right here. Hey, say, you've been better than good to me. Come on. Everybody tell them, you've been better than good to me. Oh, you've been better than good to me. I'm talking about Jesus, y'all. You've been better than good to me. Let's go right here. I should have been dead, but you've been better than good to me. If you got a testimony, should have lost my mind, but you've been better than good to me. Can we say it one more time? Say, I should have been dead, but you've been better than good. I should have been sleeping 6 feet in the grave right now. Hey, should have lost my mind, but you've been better than good to me. We gotta go. So everybody tell them, you've been better than good to me. You've been better than good to me. Somebody tell them, You've been better than good to me. Every taste and see that the Lord is good. You've been better than good. I need you to go crazy. Come on. He's a good, good father. There's nobody like our Savior. Ain't nobody do me like Jesus.
Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another opportunity for Tim Talks. And I am exceptionally glad to be here today to join you all and to have you all to join me in a special moment for me. Today is a unique day for me. Number one, I believe that today we're going to see quite a bit of a victory within our country as we see certain things unfold. I believe that the Lord is going to give us grace and that God is going to bless us in a tremendous way. But then, secondly, as well, today is my birthday. And so I'm excited to be able to share this moment with you all and for us to come together as brothers and sisters on my birthday. And then probably the best thing that I'm excited about the most today is that today in Tim Talks, I have a couple of tremendous men in my life that I just absolutely adore. I love and I admire, and I've been a fan of these gentlemen for quite some time, and I'm excited today to have them here. So listen, before I introduce you to who they are, I need everybody to share. I need everybody to like this. I need everybody to press that button, share that button, and I need everybody to go and tell the world, listen, you want to tune in to Tim Talk. Let me tell you why you should tune in to Tim Talk, because we don't just have one pastor that's here with us, but we have quite a few. I want to be able to introduce you to them. Number one is my uncle in ministry. I thank God for Pastor Keith Butler. Hey, sir.
Nephew. Man, it's your birthday. Sir. Happy birthday, man. I remember when you were born. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's all the way from California. I got my other uncle all the way from California, Pastor Dr. Emmanuel Whipple.
Nephew, happy birthday, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man.
Bless you,
then,
man.
Not only do I have Pastor Whipple, but I also have Pastor W.J. Gaskin. Pastor Gaskin, hey, y'all.
Hey, happy birthday, young man. I remember it like it was almost yesterday. And you know, you and my daughter about the same age in there, so I always be celebrating y'all all the time. I don't forget. So
yes,
God
sir.
bless you, and it's a pleasure to be on with you guys.
Thank you, man. We're glad that you're here, man. Thank you. Then also I have another. What was that up?
Take care of them girls. Remember, I got 6.
Oh man, listen, I'm trying not to do what you did.
I got one more wedding to go.
Yeah. Then I not only do I have that, I have another uncle, Pastor Joseph G. Sewell. Hey, Uncle Joe.
What's going on, son?
Yes, sir.
Boy, I tell you, it's wonderful to see you. If your father, if your grandfather was here, he would say it's nice to be nice.
Yes, he would have. Yes, he would have.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Ain't nothing like another day.
Yes, sir. Ain't nothing like it, man. Ain't nothing like it. Then also we have all the way from Pompano, Pastor Nathan Austin.
My brother, hey, sir. How you doing? I'm doing well, man. Good to be on with these giants. The baby boy, of the sons. I'm glad to be on. Happy birthday to you, man. Usually we celebrate a little different, a little better. But nevertheless, we're thankful to be on with you today.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I absolutely understand, man. Glad that you're here with us. And then also, I got one more uncle for you, and that is Pastor Moderator Johnny Barber. Hey, Unc.
Hey, how you doing, nephew? And
great.
it's good to see all my brothers on this line as well.
Yes, sir.
I guess I'm a bad uncle. I didn't know it was your birthday till I heard the other uncles saying it. So,
no, man, everybody didn't know. It's all right, man. I didn't know till my wife reminded me.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sir. And then last but not least, I don't just have my uncles, but I also have my dad, who is on as well, Pastor Alfonso Jackson Sr. Pastor Jackson, you there, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, my son. Happy birthday. And certainly it's good to not only holler at, but see my brothers from different mothers, but same brother, same dad, though. Same dad. All these guys, man.
Papa Jack Jr.
Hey, man.
Papa Jack Alfonso Jr.
Hey, guys, it's good to see you guys, man. It really is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you're preaching that dad road, man.
Yes, sir. I got that. I need a little extra inspiration. I go to it.
Yeah. So for everybody that's watching today, and that you may not know this, but what links all of these great pastors and all these great leaders together from across the country, literally across the country, is one organism, not just organization, but one organism that absolutely transformed Miami and just has such a rich legacy, and that is the new Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church in Miami, Florida. All of these gentlemen are considered to be my father or my uncle in ministry, because they are all the sons of not just New Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, but also Pastor Arthur Jackson Jr., the late but great Dr. Jackson Jr. And so I wanted, for my birthday, I wanted to be able to have a conversation with my dad and my uncles about life, growing up as a minister, coming up the ranks, associate minister at New Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, especially in the era in which they did, and serving under my grandfather, Dr. Jackson, and then as well, and just preaching and their journey even after Shiloh, and what they've been able to learn, and also what they've been able to give and share with others. And so I want to, before we get started, I want to definitely throw out some honorable mentions as well, because there is more than just these. New Shiloh has given birth to countless preachers and pastors from all over, and many of them, most of them, are not able to be on this platform today. But you have those, the likes of Pastor Ranzer Thomas. You also have Pastor Arthur Jackson the third. Also have what was that? Yeah, you have Pastor Ken Johnson as well, and just a whole slew, Pastor Sherman Mungy, just a whole slew of pastors that that have come out of this great church. So I want to start off, first of all, by asking all my uncles and my dad, man, how you all doing, and how you all kind of navigating, this interesting season, man. We got COVID on one end, we got politics on the other end, we've got family, issues, and just all the things that's happening. How have you all been handling this season?
That made a difference.
How have you all been handling it?
Well, we've been able to sustain, man, and survive through the via technology. God has been graciously kind to us in that area, so we've been able to navigate the challenges of not being in the building since March. We haven't been in our sanctuary, and so God has still been good, still been faithful to our ministry. This election season, thank God, prayerfully after tonight, we will have a different focus on that. Trying to lead our people in that regard is almost as difficult than the pandemic, honestly. But nevertheless, at least for us, we've been able to navigate through it.
Great, great. Uncle Keith, man, what about you?
Well, you know, we never really closed down. We've always had the doors open. And that's because of the technology, number one, not just technology with phones and cameras, but also, you know, we have a spray and we upgraded our ventilation system. So we never really closed down, thank God. But our online is just tremendous. So, and then I see what you're doing, and I'm piggybacking off of the things that you're doing. So we're doing what. In fact, I really don't want to go back. I really like what's going on. I'm pastoring tremendously with no kind of obstruction from anyone. You know, so the pandemic has been fantastic for us, and thank God nobody has died and no one has did it. But other than that, nephew, it's been popping.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great, man. You doing it, Unc, man. You and man, I've been able to watch some of all of you, and man, you all have been it's just been killing the game. Uncle Wilt, man, how are things in Cali, man? How are things in California?
Well, the Wild Wild West, the Wild Wild West is it's different out here, man. I
Feedback
will
because I'm on twice.
admit that you know
I'm
we
all
were not
down. I'm
prepared
on
for this,
nine and on
uh,
twice.
but I've been able to navigate through this pandemic. Of course, with my nephew help, Al Jackson Jr. has been very inspirational to me, and of course, Pastor Nick also has helped me out. We have about 85% of our members are elderly, and so they, you know, they're just intimidated by using the phone or a computer. But in the midst of it all, man, God has sustained us, and of course, we've lost some members along the way, but it had nothing to do with the COVID-19. But other than that, man, we're grateful because we have residual income. And I think that that's one of the things that have kept us afloat, other than our faithful givers.
Great. Yeah, that I definitely understand that. That's great. Uncle WJ, man, how have you been coasting?
I'm unmuted now. I've been doing pretty good. I released a little bit, and we got a couple of people that will come into the sanctuary, but I'm not encouraging it because I'm like Brother Whip up there in California. I got about 85% of my membership is the elderly, like myself, above 70. In December, I'll be 70 and a half.
What you say?
Wow.
And then in May, I'll be 71. So
Wow.
trying to study the boat. I thank God that even through the pandemic, financially, our church has been able to sustain because we don't have a great overhead because our building is paid for. And I
Great.
thank God for that. I thank God for a couple of people that told me about Giblify. And one that really helped me was Sister Carla James Preston. Preston James, she helped me to set up the Giblify, which now I have some folk using. And every time one uses it, they, hey, man, I like this. I say, yeah, y'all just keep it coming. And then I got those that will mail it, literally put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it and mail it. Others that will come by and drop it off, because on the Saturday prior to the first Sunday, I go up from 11:30 to 1 now and pass out the communion supplies. And several will come by, drop off their envelopes for the month, drop it off for a couple of weeks, and we've been able to sustain my live session, which I'm gonna need a lot of help because I'm going crazy in that category. I've been looking at talking about this Mevo camera. I don't know how that's gonna work. I've been looking at buying another camera that's gonna cost me basically the same, but I want to know how to hook this thing up so I can go to Facebook, I can go to YouTube, and I'm just gonna need somebody to help to show me, because at this old age I am, I can't figure all this stuff out.
Well, Uncle WJ, man, I think they may help you to hit you up. Yeah, I think it may help you, man, to talk to your younger brother, Nathan Austin, man. He can hook you up with all of that.
Yeah, I talked to Nate a couple of times. Nate, I talked to some guy up there, Prime Star, said he knew you, and he was telling me some stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out which way I want to go with it, because my thing is, I don't think we're really going to get back, even when I thought we were going to get back, which is in 2021. I don't think we may get back then. So I need to make sure that whatever monies or funds that I'm putting into the cyber world, I don't have to redo it.
Great. Yeah.
I got you, man. Not have to tear it down and start all over again. So I'm definitely going to probably just need somebody to meet me at the church and just physically show me. Y'all know I can fix the air conditioner. I can fix it in my sleep.
I got some work for you to do also, man, because I got some air conditioning issues, so I need you to come through. So I'm looking forward to that. We can do a swap.
I'll come down and look, and I don't fix anything. I gave all my tools away, so I don't have to fix anything anymore. But I got to the best advice, and I got some of the best mechanics out there that I know will fix it and won't break the bank.
Okay. All right. So everybody, y'all call Uncle WJ.
You got a problem, just call me, tell me what it is. And in my sleep, if it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you explain it to me, ask Brother Johnny, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. I believe you. I believe you. Uncle Joe, talk to me, man. How you been, man?
Fantabulous, man. I thank God for when I was with your grandfather, that he told us, I didn't realize what I had done. He told us how to save when times are good. And I forgot I had a nest egg that I was sewing into one time. Me and Pastor Whipper was together, and I had my own. I had 3 checkbooks, and Whip said, "Joe, you know everybody can't do that." And Whip, you wouldn't believe this, man. It was a couple of years, and I found out that I had sold into a savings, and when I came to my mind, I had put away a super nest. And so I just bought the wife a new Benz.
Oh man,
mine's paid off. I just thank God for wisdom. And
man,
we're doing fantastic. Thank the Lord.
Yeah,
to God be the glory.
It sound like you're doing fantastic, man. That's a heck of a nest. To pay off Bentleys, man. That's the Benz, man. That's
Not
nice,
Bentley.
man. I don't know how big the nest is, so I didn't know whether that was going to be next. But
I'm satisfied.
Yeah, good, man. Good. Uncle Johnny, talk to me, man. How have you been coasting, man, during these waters?
Man, we yet holding on. God has, been good. As of late, I'm going into a hybrid worship. The emphasis and the focus is still with online. That's first and foremost priority, and the audience that we're catering to. It kind of, I guess the best way to kind of describe it is kind of like when you used to watch the old TV shows and they said tape before a live studio audience. And so the congregants, the people that come, you got members that come in, but you know, the focus, just like those television shows, they focused on the camera and that audience that they're performing for. Not to say that we are performing, but it just kind of puts you in that whole mind. You got a live studio audience. You know, in the beginning of the pandemic, you know, of course, you know, we were, you know, just the camera and the people that work the cameras, producers room, audio, a few people manning the doors, you know, a couple of ushers and things like that. I think we've, our largest number since people have been coming back, I think our largest number has been somewhere between 50 to 60 people inside of the sanctuary on a Sunday morning. That's been our largest number. Only people that sit close together are the people who are family members. Of course, they've driven the service together. Everybody else is spread out. People are indoors with masks, and so that's been good. You know, financially, we've been doing pretty decent. I have to call because I just got a report for this past Sunday that I wasn't too joyful about. So I got to go check that out, see what's going on. Maybe you know, sometimes a combination of things. Maybe this Sunday fell on one of those Sundays where it wasn't a regular pay week or whatever, and maybe maybe what I was expecting this Sunday, we'll see it next Sunday. But nevertheless, we've been doing good. Haven't missed a beat. We're in the process now of getting ready to meet with our leaders and a series of conversations about when we gather again, and then not just so much as gather again, but just some projections about, you know, church moving forward. You know, what does that look like? Because there's a whole lot of mindsets that have to change, and so we're going to get ready. Matter of fact, tomorrow evening, a virtual call with our leaders and start that discussion and dialogue. There's a lot of stuff we got to examine. So, been busy. I think I've been busier now than I was prior to the pandemic. You know, we're trying to fit in getting your sermon ready for Sunday. We pre-record our Bible study. So, you know, you got to get that, whatever your studies, your writing in and researching in for that ahead of time. So it makes your schedule far different. Mondays used to be a day off, but Mondays now become a day of work. But all in all, you know, doing good, man, doing good. Can't complain. You know, just trying to manage and trying to maintain. We got through our church anniversary, which was different. Past anniversary, that was different, but yeah, it was different. just say it was different. So, but we're grateful. But it was different.
Right.
So,
yeah. And
no, we yet holding on, man. Just we yet holding on, man.
And speaking of pastors' anniversaries, it's my father's anniversary, pastoral anniversary this week, and he's celebrating 35 years in total, 15 at St. James at Coconut Grove, and then 20 at Second Baptist in Richmond Heights. And Pop, man, you've had to celebrate your anniversary differently as well, man. How has that been? I know you're still in the middle of it. Tonight's, I think, the second night, but how's it been? How have you been kind of navigating that?
Okay, I must apologize for feedback. I think you got me on here twice. You see me twice?
No, just see you once.
Okay, is it feedback? Is it clear or not?
Yeah, we're clear. Yeah, you're clear, Doc.
Oh, great, man. I was really I'm stressing over that. Hey, man, I really just enjoy hearing you guys' testimony about what's going on in your ministries and how God is blessing. That's a great thing, man. And I've been saying that the guys that have resumed worship, you know, don't be critical of the guys that haven't, and then the guys that haven't, we can't be critical of the guys that have, because every situation is not the same. Um, it's it's it would be challenging for me to even do a hybrid, because if people found out that I was hibernating in there, um, it would be a bad look.
you said hibernating.
If I was hibernating.
I like that. I like that.
So, having the two campuses and the theater being closed, that's a whole nother dynamic of people that we're going to have to address at some point also. And so we're not looking to start back before the first of the year. And we got meetings coming up with the task force to decide what's the best look for that. How would that look? I may end up going to multiple services, and I might end up doing a Saturday service as well. Now, I'm not naive, neither should any of us be. There are some people that are not coming back into the church. There are some people that like hooked on phonics, man. They are hooked on YouTube and Facebook, and many of them have gotten very comfortable and conformed to the new normal. But that's not everybody's testimony. There are a lot of people that are going to be trying to find their way back to these churches. And so, I mean, it's a good problem to have, but but it is a problem. How are you going to accommodate them and social distance? Like Johnny, we are definitely going to continue the live stream the services, but it has forced us to be creative. I'm thankful that we had media in place before the pandemic, but then it takes it to another level. Um, I don't think it's a good trade-off with UNWJ, since he ain't got no tools. But I do feel I think they about to work Nate to death with their
Oh,
consoling.
oh, thank you, thank you,
I think
thank you.
that because as black people, when we say consult, we don't mean you know we we don't mean hook a
Only
brother
one
up.
brother has paid. Only one brother has paid. That's Elder Duke. He's paid. Everybody else has just been pro bono.
Pro bono, but
That's
worry,
what
I'm gonna
family
have
is
some.
for, right? That's what family
Right,
is for, right?
right. None of my brothers.
I'm
None
gonna
of my.
I'm
None
gonna
of
have
my
some.
brothers.
Hey Johnny, didn't I
Yeah,
help
yeah,
you out?
yeah. Hey, listen, he came to my house. He helped me out, man. I'm not gonna lie. He did. He did. Gave me some good advice.
I'm just saying.
Stuff.
I'm just
But
saying.
Thank
did
you,
he
I
big
bring
brother.
did he bring his tools though with him?
That was before he got rid of the tools. I wish
Okay.
No, I had got rid of the tools. I got a handful left.
he would have left them at my house.
No, I had been got rid of the tools, Johnny. What I did
say
is just so you
let
guys know, I have a
WJ come
handful of tools
first.
that I can work on
Let him
anything.
come to your place first, and then that'll
Let-
determine the level of that.
Yeah, I got you,
But
brother.
we are our brothers. We are our brothers keeper, and I do thank God for the technology. I look forward to a time that the sons of the house, since we are in this technological age, why can't we do a service? Why can't we put on a service like I'm doing this week for my anniversary? Why can't we do this, take a few nights and make this happen, even if we
Yes,
did
sir.
2 a night. But why can't we do that? I think that our church, Pop, has produced hands down the best quality preachers and pastors of any church, any church. And this is not just even local. This is across the nation, man. They may produce 1 or 2 good pastors, some solid ministers. Man, we have a plethora of pastors and preachers that can do anything you want. That can
Yes, sir.
make it happen. And I believe in that. And I believe that we ought to make that happen. Make that happen. Find out. When the last time y'all heard Whipple preach in Cali? We don't know. We want to hear my brother.
Have we been to his church?
No, we ain't.
Wait, hey, why y'all gonna hey, don't put Whip on the
Back
like
in
that.
the hey, back in the day.
Hey, look,
Listen,
Whip know I love him, man.
Whip
Whip know I love him, man. I work for Whip, man. Whip know he can call me
no,
anytime.
man.
You know, I'm
Listen,
always
back in the
helping Whip.
day, Johnny, JB, back in the day when the brother disappeared, we kind of knew, where they was. They would say, "No, I'm in Cali." they be in the county. But Art has been out there. Art is verified it, and we know Whip is doing well. But the point is, we want to hear you, man. We want to hear you. We've had some great. I mean, Johnny was moderator of the largest association in the whole state of Florida. The things that we've been able to accomplish collectively has been phenomenal, and I think that we ought to showcase that and highlight that.
No, I
And
agree. I agree. I was sharing with Al literally when he sent me the text about this is honest to God. I sent him the screenshot. Literally, I was at my church writing down exactly what you're saying. I was getting ready to reach out to start trying to plan something like this, and I told him it was nobody but God that had me on this call, and I showed him the screenshot. I was listing all the guys to start contacting to talk about it's time for us to come together to put something together for the sons of the house. So I'm on board with you, Pastor Jack. It's far overdue. We are an exclusive club that I think we need to highlight more exclusively. Really do.
So
don't forget my elbow.
Nephew,
hey,
you literally right now have on this call about 4 generations. That I mean, literally 4 generations of pop preachers on this call. Your dad is more of the first generation. He came in with guys like Alfred Tharp, my biological dad, George Davis, and a few guys. Then they started pastoring. I mean, I can call literally about 4 or 5 Perkins. You got Perkins, your dad, my biological father, and it's quite a few. It's about 5 that I can call off the top of my head. Then after your dad, the next generation of pastors that even represent on this line now is myself, Whip, WJ, Sewell, Art. I mean, it was like 14, 15 of us. Ken Johnson, which I would argue, your dad probably would disagree, but I think out of all the generations, that was the best generation of pastors. Then.
It was the best, but not for all the right reasons.
So then after our generation came Johnny's generation. Johnny, and then after Johnny was Nate. So just with that alone, we talking about 4 generations of pastors that, I mean, at least 20, 30 preachers came that's pastoring, if not more, out of New Shiloh from under Pop. And that is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Right. So I want to.
I didn't have no good class. I'll tell you that right now. My class was not good. I did not have a great group that, not, as far as sustainability.
How your dad gonna be at a gas station?
He gonna I thought he was getting pulled over. I'm multitasking.
Somebody don't hack in. Somebody don't hack in.
The gas station.
And the problem is, I won't say nothing because it's his dad. I won't say nothing because it's his daddy.
I can't say nothing, man. I plead the fifth,
He
man.
can't say nothing, man. He just. I'm glad somebody said something.
Y'all listen, y'all the brothers. I can't say nothing about it.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, Junior, help him out. Mute him. Mute him, nephew.
Right. I heard a voice. I'm like, well, who is that?
And there's this voice that appears from heaven. Talk about this is my beloved.
Nephew, mute him. Please mute him, nephew. Jesus Christ.
Now you can talk to it. Now you can talk to it.
Now say something.
Don't do it.
So
He's
listen.
a voice crying out in the wilderness.
Hey man, I needed that laugh on this election day, man. I thank you, man. I needed this laughter, man.
A couple of things. Number one is that as Uncle Keith mentioned about the generations that came from the spiritual loins of my grandfather, but there's also the grandsons of the house as well, in which I'm a part of, and then now I got my brother who crashed into my house to be here as well.
First of all, I crashed because I couldn't get in the system. Let's get that number one. And number two, this has been my vision for years.
How's it been your vision?
I've been talking to you about it for 18 years, man. I've been wanting to see my uncles and my dad together for years, man. Just to see it happen, man, it's amazing. It took a pandemic for this to happen.
So extra.
We getting the PG version of this conversation.
Oh yeah, trust me, we getting the PG version.
Come on, hey, we know our nephew, man. Don't y'all get him started, man.
we gonna be sensitive bigger than
Hey, then Ted, it won't be Ted's fault. It'll be the uncle's fault because they pushed you there, Ted.
Y'all know, my uncles know I'm special. Y'all know that. only uncle has not accepted that I'm special is Uncle Al. He think I'm normal, but I'm special.
Now, nephew, check this out. Now, to your point, check this out. Okay, so not only has Pop produced more preachers and pastors probably than any pastor in the state of Florida, but at one point he was the only pastor in Florida that had 2 sons pastoring in the same city and had a father and son pastoring in the same city. My biological dad and myself. So Pop not only had 2 sons, but he also had 2 sons, a father and son duo pastoring in the same city. That's unheard of. You don't hear about that. Now he has his sons pastoring in the same city. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great testament. So one of the things that I wanted to ask is this. As I mentioned, my dad's anniversary is this week, and yesterday he did something very unique. he had my grandfather to preach the first night of his anniversary, and got an old tape from, I think, 1996 at St. James, in which my grandfather preached his pastoral anniversary, and used that for his anniversary this year. I kind of did something similar as well a few months ago, and had my grandfather to preach one of my Sunday services at my church virtually. And so many of you all saw the presentation last night, and you all talked about the nostalgia that came, the feeling of nostalgia that came from that. What was it like to be a preacher under Arthur Jackson Jr. in New Shiloh, especially among that class, as Uncle Keith talked about, the class of preachers that you all were preachers. You all wasn't just saying that y'all preachers. Y'all could actually preach. Every one of you all had the opportunity, or had the kind of chops to, if the mic was given to you, you could go. And so what was that like, being in that kind of atmosphere? Was there any competition? Was there any tension? Was it all, just kind of love, or how was it?
Oh, absolutely competition. That's why I could argue that our generation was the greater of the all generations. Because you had guys, Tez, your dad and them, Art, even WJ and Sue, you get up there and mess up. Oh man, they will cut in on you. When it was over, hey man, what you meant about that? Well, I remember I'll never forget this. I got up and I said, it's all right to play the lottery as long as you don't use your diaper money. I didn't hear nothing from the congregation, but boy, when I went in that back room in that office, all my brothers laid into me. Here's another thing. If you flunk, they won't color code it. They're gonna tell you, man, you need to go back there and study. And then finally, you better never tell Pop you ain't ready. You tell Pop you ain't ready, you ain't preaching for a long time. So it was competition, and I think we the iron sharpened each other. So Pop didn't necessarily have to sit down and say, hey, do A, B, and C. He saw us getting on each other that made us so great. So I know that's my testimony about how our generation was greater than Al's generation, Johnny generation, and Nate's generation. I'm just saying.
Man, those are pretty heavy words, Uncle Keith, man. I'm just saying, man.
Well, you keep saying it. Preaching bold. We can back it up. We can back it up.
Hey, Uncle Butler, which generation do Al Jr. predecessor come from?
Mungeon?
Yeah, Mungeon.
Our generation.
He's in your generation.
He was with y'all?
Yeah. He was with us.
He was with y'all, my daddy crew?
Yes.
He was
okay.
Because remember, WJ, first, here's how I know. Okay, you look at how assistant pastors came about. Remember the first one was Ken. It was you.
No, WJ.
Yeah. Then it was Ken. Then it became Mungeon. And then after Mungeon, Johnny stepped in. And then after Johnny, Austin stepped in. So that's how I kind of know, the generations. Mungeon and WJ was in the same era with all of us. But, there was, pecking order too. But I ain't going to say nothing about that.
Yeah, there was a pecking order.
Yeah. I'll let Whip talk about the pecking order. Now, nephew, we were so good that Pop gave up his 8 o'clock service. We were preaching the 8 o'clock service every Sunday. That's how good we were.
Wow. Uncle Wilt, man, get in on this, man. What are your thoughts, man? What was that season like? Uncle Wilt? Hold on. Make sure you're not muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We hear you now.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Well, let me go back to something. One of the things that one of the things that I admire about Pop is that he shared the pulpit with us. And going back to something that Keith shared with us a few minutes ago, I don't know if you remember, Keith, when Pop would have early Sunday morning with all the sons, and he would critique us from the last Sunday whoever preached.
That's right.
And
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
that was one of one of the major things that inspired us to even be better. And there's nobody, I believe, in this nation that handled the pulpit like Papa Jackson did. He was just a phenomenal, pioneer, man. And he gave us an opportunity. And back in that day, I remember it was 22 sons sitting up in the pulpit, because if any of us got there late, you didn't have nowhere to sit. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Yep.
Nowhere to sit.
And of course,
There was only 13 chairs up there.
WJ was the man back then.
Yes, sir.
He basically orchestrated things. But going back to those moments, man, it's unforgettable. We laughed, we talked, even with preaching. We wasn't jealous of each other. We all would compliment each other.
No.
And then when you died,
Dad wasn't gonna have that.
You died. And to know that you died, Pop wouldn't let us preach for a long time. He wouldn't let us preach for a long time.
Wow. And then, hey, Dad, you told me sometimes, Granddaddy Jack, if he put one of y'all up to preach at one of his friends' churches, and y'all get up there messing up, he'd get up behind you and go to closing.
Whatever, probably one of the generations before us or after us. But our generation, we never had that problem. Our generation never had that problem.
Man.
Yeah, it was a little different with my group. I really felt like Dad, when you all came along, he was pouring more into you all. I wasn't a part of those classes of that review session. I wasn't a part of that. Back when we were there, that what he said about being ready, that was for sure. That's especially on Sunday nights. On Sunday night particularly, and we were ready too. I mean, everybody had a sermon. Even Ebba, you mentioned Ebba's name, the mass murderer.
Lord, Johnny, man, why you do that?
It's Stanley Thorpe and our best friends back then, and George Davis, Keith's biological dad. Problem with him was he was older. He was older. He was a grown man when he started preaching. He was one of the best deacons and singing deacons that we had, and so therefore he started off hooping. He was one of the best hooping preachers that we had, and we couldn't hoop because we couldn't sing that well. And Stan was worse than me.
Yeah, he was. He'll get hoarse.
But he tried. But we kind of got out of the way of you all. It was 85. I was out of there. 85, and I would be coming back there. But I admired the way you all supported Pop. I admired the way that you all nobody tried to usurp. No matter how well Keith could hoop and whatever, he ain't never thought, because people be like, hey, I'd rather hear you than nobody ever was that. You all maintained the highest respect. Johnny, you know, those guys carrying the briefcase, y'all did anything. Nate, you guys came along in there. WJ, I thought he was assistant pastor, but actually Emmett Ross was the assistant pastor when I was there.
Right.
So he called the shots. He ran the pulpit, especially at Old Shiloh before we moved. But I always admire you guys. I wasn't there a long time with Emmanuel. I wasn't there a long time. Well, Keith was a boy preacher. You know, he's always been around. But I've always loved you guys as brothers, and I admire you even more for what you did in serving Dad. So I'll always love you for that. But it was rough for me being his son. It was a little rougher for me because Dad didn't want nepotism to be the thing, and so sometimes he put other guys up that he shouldn't have put up because he didn't want people to think because I was his son. You know, so you know it would be like that, and so everybody, and you can tell when people die. And Shiloh be trying to help you too. You know, Shiloh, they want you to be successful.
Yeah.
But Shiloh will fool you though, because you think you can preach and you go someplace else, and then them people look at you like you're crazy. You know, and then it teach you that you can't preach like Pop. I mean, nobody can be Pop, right? So he forced you to find yourself, find your style, and find what's effective for you. Remember when Johnny couldn't hoop? When Johnny couldn't hoop, you know, before then. You know, I remember all you guys, man. You know, Sewell could sing. So Sewell had it easier. You know, a lot of guys that could sing had, and then Sewell can play the piano, and he all over the place. He bringing that Pentecostal stuff. And
you brought the Pentecostal flavor.
He tried to outdress everybody. You know.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
It was cool, man.
Now you brought up Thorpe's name, man. I remember Pop, you know, when he got ill, and he would not come to AM service, the morning services. And so he says, you know, Johnny, I got Thorpe coming in. You know, I really didn't know Thorpe. I mean, he was y'all generation or whatever. So I got Thorpe coming in, you know, early morning. He said, I'll be here by 11 o'clock. His son needs to be here on time, yada, yada. Okay, no problem, Pop, got it. So, all right, son, all right, get there. And, you know, all the introduction, all that stuff like that. Shelly
I remember this.
Otis Shelly was there. Rod McPhee was Rod was like the chairman at that time or something. Rod was kind of high there, but Otis was still alive. Deacon Shelly was still alive. Otis got up and preached Glory. His sister was there. So, you know, a whole lot of key people, but those key people, remember those names. Deacon Shelley, Rod McPhee, Gloria was there as well. Otis gets up and preach, and, you know, I introduced him or whatever. And I'm not Otis, but Thorpe got up and preached. So I Thorpe was up there preaching, and he's like, you know, we got the wrong people in the church today. He said, y'all putting the wrong people out the church. I'm gonna tell y'all what we need in the church today.
I know where he going.
He said we need some holes in the church. Y'all he said holes in the choir stand.
Yeah.
We already got holes in the pulpit, but we need more holes.
He sure did. I remember that. I knew where he was going.
He's my senior, and I'm sitting up there. And I leaned back over and I looked back on my shoulder. You know, and I leaned back on my shoulder and I said, Rod, I said, did he just say it? Rod, be quiet. You're talking about them hoes too. So Pop from the church a little bit before 11 o'clock. He come to church, and Glow sees the dad coming through the door. Glow's like, ooh, dad, ooh, dad, ooh, Pop, ooh, dad, I got something. He's like, what, sugar, baby, it's good to see you too. Good morning, God bless you, good to see you. Then Glow's like, I got to tell you. Got to tell you about our preacher. Glow's like, I got to tell you about our preacher. Ram say, well, baby, how did the preacher do? Glow said, I need to tell you in the office. And so he said, all right, he goes in the office. Then he say, son, you coming in there? I'm like, no, I'm going to go get some breakfast. So Glow tells him what Glow said. I'm trying to walk out the front door of the church. All you hear is Pop from his office. Today! Give me a boy! Where you at, son? Today! I was like, oh my God. I come in the office like a dog with his tail stuck between his legs. I said, hey, Pop, how you doing? He like, I said, what do you know I'm doing? Tell me what the preacher said. I said, well, you know, he preached. He said some stuff. He said what? Man, he preached. What did the preacher say? Rev, he was talking about Jesus. Rev said, what did he say? He was talking about God. He was talking about Jesus. He said, what did he say, son? And I say, let me go get McPhee. Maybe Rod can tell you. So I go out the door. Johnny, come back in here. Rod, please, man, come in this office, man. I need your help. Rod comes in there. Rod said, well, I don't know what Thorpe was going through, but he started talking about hose. Rev said, hose? Garden hose? I said, no. He said, the kind that walk the street. And Rev just went straight off. Then he was like, where was you? Why didn't you get the microphone? I'm like, Rev, I said, he's my senior. What am I supposed to do? Called Deacon Shelley, and Deacon Shelley comes in the office. Deke just laughed. He just laughed and getting the kick out. And Rev said, Deke, well, what was you going to do? Deke says, well, you left Johnny in charge. I'm like, oh, so everybody's going to throw me up under the bus. I didn't get on the mic and tell the man talking about we need holes in the church, holes in the choir. That's not my fault responsibility. Man, it was, but then when he came walking through the door, man, to end this story, man, he came walking through the door and because whatever came back to get his check. I was like, man, you know what? I said, you got me in trouble, and you got a whole lot of people in trouble. Got people in trouble about what? I said, man, you stand in the pulpit talking about holes and stuff like that, man. These people don't want to hear nothing about no holes. He was like, I'm telling the truth. Y'all need more holes in the church. I was like, we probably already got no holes in here in the first place. We don't need no more holes. He goes in the office and talk to Rev. I don't think he got paid on that day. Pop said, son, he said the very next time somebody get up in that pulpit, he said, and if they get up there and you don't shut them down, he said, I wouldn't care who it is. I left you in charge. You better grab that mic, shut it down, get the choir to start singing or whatever. Don't you ever let nobody get in this pulpit and make a mockery out of preaching and some such what. Or you ain't gonna never preach again. So I was like, man, from that day forward, I say, if you get up and you clowning, man, I'm not sacrificing my preaching responsibilities over you to fool out of yourself. But yeah, man, the whole story that was like, man, wow. I couldn't believe he was standing up saying that. I froze in the pulpit because I couldn't believe bro was just doing it like that.
Wow. Hey, Johnny, now watch this, nephew. I'm gonna ask each generation, 3 preachers, something you're gonna see how powerful Pop was. Whip, when you was up there too long, not you, but I'm saying the preacher was up there too long, what will Pop say to let you know it's time for you to sit down?
All right.
Bring it home, son. Bring it home, son. Bring it home, son. Ken, when you said something that Pop really liked, he used a term that what's the singer my. He would say my, and it would resonate throughout the whole Shiloh. And when he said my, that means whatever we said, keep doing it. Work,
Right.
stay right there. Don't move from there. Yeah, don't move from there. Don't move from there. Hey, WJ, what about this one? When Pop would be hooping, he would go on the right side to go down or on the left side. The right side.
I think it would be on the right, and then he would go down where the deacons at, and then move over to the deaconess.
And move right over there. You know why he went over by the deacons? Because it was that one deaconess, sister. What was the mother that
Molly
used to
Jones.
shout?
Molly
Jones. There you go.
Mother Jones.
Hey, Will. He was. Hey, Ted. He was such an artist at knowing how to read a crowd. If the crowd wasn't jumping, he'll go right over there to Mother Jones, and all he had to do was holler one time, and she would go off. She would, and then the church would just go off. When I tell you he was a master at that, he was a master at that. I mean, those are things that each and every one of us can say, yeah, we know. Yeah, it was common. It was common, you know. So that's what Johnny is saying. Even with administration. Elbert would do something, and Pop would tell whoever in charge to sit Elbert down. And we used to argue about, because Munson would say, Butler, you go and tell him to sit down. I said, no, Ken, you tell him to go and sit down.
Elbert was strong, boy.
Hey, no, remember that time Ken said, Rev said, go sit Elbert down. Elbert was up there talking about and the stars and the astrological and the dust from the moon and the sort of. Ram say, what is that boy talking about? He say, Ken, go get him. Ken say, okay, what we gonna do is you take him low, I'm gonna hit him.
Hit him high, yep. I was there, I remember that.
Yeah, that joker was a strong boy. I grew up in the bell. He had the bell in my generation, so it was you stay too long, he would ring that bell. But,
what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had the bell. Man, I remember, Johnny, you remember we had a funeral, man, the most famous funeral ever at Shiloh, man. Uncle Al. Uncle Al died. The underground DJ, Uncle Al, man. And somehow, some way, Pop allowed them folk to come in his church. And I mean, it was thousands of people there, man.
I was 2 days removed from hanging out in the street. I was 2 days.
Right. Johnny just got saved. We had Uncle Al's funeral, man. And
no. That ain't the famous one. No. Les Brown Mama. When Gladys Knight was there.
No, this wasn't Uncle Al. This Uncle Al, man. It was folk. This was the most ghettoest funeral.
Oh, okay.
Hey, hold up. No, the greatest one was when that drug dealer from over town got killed that had a plethora of women that had the funeral in New Shiloh. Range had the body. They allowed them to bring it to Shiloh. All the women came up there with the little children.
Saying, that was Uncle Al. That was the funeral. That was the funeral.
And I went up there. The little baby would say, I want to see my dad. I said, okay, stand right here. I'm going to let you see your daddy. Put the little girl up there to see the daddy. The other girl came up, had on a hoochie mama skirt, went to shouting about my baby and my daddy, her daddy, and it was a mess. The Negroes was around the church with all their guns. Hello, I know what I'm talking about. Shiloh had security. Reverend Jackson preached a sermon in exactly 7 minutes. We got out of there, went to the graveyard. They had security there. Man, Rev was like, WJ, let's get out of here. I said, no problem, Rev. We got in the lake and I shot out of there.
No. Ken Johnson, tell these guys the most ghettoest funeral was Sister Stewart's sister. When she died, remember the fight that broke off in Shiloh?
I didn't see that.
Is that the one where Rod McPhee got body slammed?
Rod McPhee ran and tackled. He tackled one of the.
I wasn't there then, thank God.
Again, remember Rod tackled Sister Laura Stewart's daughter, or niece, one.
What happened was the mama and the daughter got into it, and Rod wanted to play Vince McMahon and try to regulate it. The mama slapped the daughter. Rod tried to break it up, and the mama grabbed back Fee and body slammed him on the pew.
So I want to ask this question because somebody mentioned something earlier that at one point W.J. Gaskin was the assistant. He was the man that was calling the shots.
Mm-hmm.
I know that at one point it was Johnny Barber was the man. Another time it was Ken Johnson was the man. Another time Nate Austin was the guy. So it seemed like that Mungeon was one of them as well. And so it seemed like there was like this rotation.
What about Ellis?
Of who? David Ellis?
Yeah. Was he a son?
No. He was
no.
David said y'all didn't like him.
No, he never was an assistant pastor. He never was
an assistant.
He was assistant pastor. So how did
Dwayne the son too?
Dwayne Richardson? Yeah, Dwayne Richardson.
No.
Dwayne's not a son.
But I thought Pop had adopted Dwayne because he wanted to be a son so bad.
Man, mute his mic, man.
You was in the sound room. You weren't around.
I was around.
You was in the sound room. You weren't.
I'm not denying or confirming. I'm just saying mute your mic.
Yeah. We can't talk about that.
My question is when it came down to assistants, was there did they have a rotation, or was it just based upon whoever was there until they got a church, or what was that like for that number 2 spot? And did the rest of the sons and did the rest of the preachers follow that number 2 guy, or was it we'll play nice until dad is gone?
Well, let me take a stab at it because I was blessed to be able, because I started so young, to kind of be in multiple generations. And I think it just kind of, it was a happenstance, because Pop was in different eras in his ministry. So like when your dad was going, he was just really starting at Shiloh and booming, growing it. So there was really no need for no real assistant because he inherited Elder Ross. Elder Ross was already there under Griffin. So, but then after that, I think how Mungeon became popular. Pop had became president of the association, and it was more so, okay, let me, because our pulpit was so big and strong, and the ministry. Well, listen, we had 500 people in mission on Wednesday nights. Our Sunday school had almost 1,000 people in it. And so he started building an administrative team. And I think Mungeon just kind of fell in there because, I hate to say it like this, but he wasn't really sought after outside of Shiloh. So, most of the preachers that was there was getting churches, and to offset. Why y'all leaving me out there like that? Y'all really, for real, Sewell, really, y'all.
No, y'all man, everybody quiet, huh?
WJ, really, y'all. Okay, so Mungeon kind of, and Mungeon started that trend with really assistant, and we respected that because Pop put that in his hands, and then after him, Ken came. No, was it WJ?
WJ, it was WJ. You got the order all backwards.
Okay, well, WJ, but it was WJ, and then WJ. Here's how Mungeon got it. WJ went to pastor a church that him and Mungeon, I think, was up for, if I'm not mistaken, St. Luke. And WJ got the church, and to make Mungeon feel better, I think Pop gave him the assistant pastor role.
No, man. Ken came out the WJ. Ken was out the WJ.
So was it Ken and WJ that had the issue?
No, nobody had an issue with me.
No,
it was
okay,
Ken. It was
okay,
Ken
not
and
you, but
Mungeon.
Nobody else from Shiloh.
Ken Johnson and Mungeon did.
I don't know, but listen.
Yeah, it was the Ken. It was Ken and
It was the
Mungeon.
Ken. It was the Ken
WJ was
Johnson.
long
Give me a
gone.
second. Give me a second.
WJ was long gone. We got to mute your mic too, man.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
But here
You done
is.
told a whole story.
When,
Ain't nothing
when,
Hey, Ken on the phone. Ken could refute that. Oh, Ken, come on, Ken, take that mic. We know the Dolphins. We just won. Come on, bro.
No, Ken. It was
Ken, man. We need you to straighten the record.
Ken, straighten the record about you and Mungeon.
Give me 1 second. I'm coming. I'm coming.
What are you doing?
WJ was long gone. It was Ken, then Mungeon.
Okay, Ken, then Mungeon. Okay.
It was Mungeon, then Mungeon, then Johnny.
Okay, so Mungeon got it by default.
Yeah, I came after Gaskin.
Okay.
And then Mungeon was the oldest preacher after me. He wasn't he was just the oldest. And so he did kind of get it by default.
He gave the PG version.
You gave the PG version. Yes, I was just about to say that. He gave the PG version.
I'm gonna give you the version. I'm standing in the middle of Walmart. They can't hear me say it here.
Ken is like Ken is in his is more like he's listening election day, so he's been doing the very, the very politician. Listen, we're neither gonna confirm, we're neither gonna deny.
Al Jr., you may be a good time to tell these guys that it's not just us.
That's what I know.
Right. I'm like, what, Ken? Keith going. I mean, this.
Text. I don't got a
few. Lord, Jesus have mercy. I forgot about that. Mungeon was an outstanding assistant pastor. We all listened to him and we all followed what he said.
And Mungeon, one of my Facebook friends on top of that.
Mungeon was a great man. He was a great man. He was a great man.
On Facebook.
The man's still living, man. He's talking about was a great man.
So the question is,
I'm going in. I'm doing. Hey, nephew. Not. I knew something that none of them. I think they picked up on later because I studied Pop so well. I knew how to get a sermon. I knew how to be next to preach. Pop used to on Sunday. Whoever stayed around in the office just lingered around. Papa say, "Hey, boy, what you doing next Sunday?" And no, whatever you want me to do, but all right, you up next Sunday. So I used to linger around all the time because if it wasn't at Shiloh, it was somebody calling to preach at some other church. Then all of a sudden, other preachers started figuring it out, and you started lingering. That's how I got New Mount Moriah. I lingered around. Frank Dean was supposed to go and preach, and Frank missed the date. And the deacon called, and I was lingering in the office. Rev said, "Boy, go over there at Mount Moriah and preach." And that's how I ended up at Mount Moriah, lingering around.
Hey, Johnny, that didn't help him preach at the National, though, lingering around.
Hey, but at least I did it, though. I
did
got
it later. He did it later.
I got
you ain't ready, boy.
Yeah, he told me, yeah. But I got there, though.
You got there, though. You got there when you was ready. When you was ready.
Yes, but Keith does make a very valid point, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ken taught me this. Ken was like, man, whenever Rev called, be available. And sometimes Pop will call you at the most oddest of hours in the morning.
Lord have mercy.
And ask you just the dumbest question based upon the oddest of the hour. He would say, he'd call you like, "Son, what you doing?" Man, it's 4:30 a.m. in the morning. What do you mean what I'm doing? But I mean, that's what you're thinking. You ain't gonna tell.
Yeah, you don't say it out loud now.
You don't say it out loud. You be, 4:30 in the morning, he calling you, "What you doing, son?" And your answer be nothing. And he'll say, "Well, meet me at the house. We got to get on the road 6 o'clock. We got to go drive here, drive there." And you laying in the bed like it's 4:30 in the morning. Does this man sleep? And didn't you know this yesterday that he needed to go to and wake you up at 4:30 in the morning, and then you doing all of the driving. You're doing all the driving.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and sometimes you doing the driving. You had people like Charles Coleman in the back seat, Henry Nivens. You know, you got John Sayles. You got these guys in the car, and if you driving the distance, man, some of them, you know, I call them old heads, but I say it respectfully. And you know, most of those guys are not here anymore. Man, they'll fall asleep, and after they don't woke you up like 4:30 in the morning, to leave at 6, to drive them, you know, somewhere across the state, and they just fall asleep, and you driving with all of this wealth in the vehicle, so you can't drive, you can't fall asleep because you got all of this, you know, this valued treasure in the car,
and you driving.
You got to get them to where they're supposed to be. You tired, you sleepy, and you get them back. But somewhere along that ride, Pop would say, "Son, what you doing Sunday morning?" You know? And again, your answer, I don't care what you got. Your answer is always nothing. If he call you 4 in the morning,
sir.
Son, nothing. If he ask you what you doing on Sunday, nothing. You know what you doing too, nothing. You always, the answer was always, I'm doing nothing. And if you were around him, he put you on. I mean, you know. Then some guys started figuring it out in the latter, and they started being around him. You know, I'm not gonna call any names, but they started being around him because they started figuring it out. You know, they started seeing, you know, oh, if I'm around him, then I get the spot. So Ken Johnson told the one funny joke. He came home from Fort Pierce, and he was trying to get close to Rev, and these two associates, they would like bookending Pop. They wouldn't let Pop go nowhere. Ken said, "Listen," he says, "Man, is the man going to the bathroom? Does one of them one does the zipping and the other does
the whole." That's how it was.
You want to remind them that there are a lot of people on this line. Please.
That's how when Red was running. When Red was running for a state president, he was, I don't know if Johnny remember this. I think we were having a meeting at Shiloh, and he said, "Austin, go get me a flight. I gotta go somewhere." He had to go. I think it was Tallahassee. He said, "Austin, go check on the flight." I came back, Pop, flight $800. He say what now? $800. What y'all doing, boy?
Oh
yeah. What y'all doing? Nothing. Go put some gas in that navigator. We got to take a road trip.
Yeah.
We say, but mind you, we got jobs. I think John was working for the cable company. I was working for the county. We got jobs. Rev said we going on a road trip. We were the drivers of the campaign bus. We just didn't know it. That's just what, you know, we calling in off work. We out of town. We calling in. We gonna make it.
Ken, Whipple, Gaston, and Sewell. Who holds the record for the quickest sermon in Shiloh's history? The quickest trial sermon in Shiloh's history.
Tommy Davidson. That's his name.
He can't talk. He's like,
y'all don't remember. Y'all scared to say. No, remember it was Hardeman.
Tommy.
Remember Hardeman got up and he say, I want to thank God for this situation in Dublin and the scripture so. And he turned around and sat down. Everybody looked at each other. Pop looked at each other. Is he finished? Well, I'll never forget it. Al, he holds the record as the quickest crowd sermon in Shiloh history.
What about the guy named Tommy? Wasn't there some guy named Tommy? He was the only one that Rev never licensed.
Yeah, he was the only one. Yes, he was the only one.
He took about 12 minutes to introduce his family. He read his scripture, and then he said, "Well, that's about all I got to say."
And he turned around and sat down. Yeah, no, he the one hold the record. I'm sorry, Hardeman, if you watch.
So I want to ask a question on this wise, because it was mentioned as far as in you all just being on call, whether to preach, whether to drive, whether to go to a house that somebody passed away, or to go to a church meeting where the pastor is in trouble, and you had to be able to be on call at the drop of a dime, at one phone call. Today, there aren't many associate ministers who share that kind of same resolve. That, if you ask them, hey, what you doing, or I need you to preach, it can be a Monday and you saying, listen, I need you to preach for Bible study on Tuesday. It's a good chance that they may say, Rev, I'm not ready, or I gotta work, or something else. So what do you feel has changed over the years? Because preachers in general are not the same as they were in previous years. So what do you think is the difference that you've seen as pastors?
Let me start on now. Be quick on mine. Listen, I think that I think the guys now have fallen in love with what they perceive to be the glitz and the glamour of pastoring. And social media has changed it as well. And it's, some guys, they got their own little audience, they got their own little following, and no longer is it the carry the whole attaché type of thing that's out there, the whole humility type of thing that guys that we had to do and stuff like that. And I remember it was an associate from one of the churches in the association, and the dude, the preacher, he's an associate minister. He walked right up in the pulpit at an association event, and he's an associate minister. And I remember, back in the days, man, me and another senior pastor, me and Pastor Philpott, as a matter of fact, we were talking, and Pastor Philpott looked at me, and I looked at him. He's like, "Well, man, what are we gonna do about it?" As opposed to you and I sitting up here talking about what we would not have. And so I actually told the guy, I said, "Hey, man, listen, I'm gonna have to lead the pulpit," and and it was embarrassing for him, but that's what we were taught. You had to be asked up, and we didn't play golf. I didn't play golf with no senior pastors. If they played, I didn't know what golf was back then, but we didn't. There was not this whole common thing with the senior pastor, G. David Horton used to always put us in our spot, man. I remember I met G. David the very first time Pop introduced me to G. David Horton. G. David looked at me. I had stuck my hand out to shake his hand. He looked at my hand like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm the preacher that he just introduced you to. And he looked at me like, boy, if you don't get up out of my face. And then I walked into the meeting with these senior pastors, and Horton stopped the meeting and said, Jack, he said, I'm going to ask your associate, the driver. No, he didn't call me the associate. He called me the driver. I'm going to ask your driver to lead a room. And in my mind, I'm like, man, who you talking to? Right? Listen, yeah, I drove him, but man, you ain't finna disrespect me. That's how I felt. But because of my love and my appreciation for my pastor, I submitted and subjected it to be so, permitted to be so, man, and walked on out. And I talked to him. Pop said, hey, man, don't let that whatever get to you. But this, he explained it to me. And after he explained it to me, I understood my role, my place, and I never ever assumed again that when they were meeting, just because I drove him, that I had a right to be in the room. I waited for them to invite me in the room. I waited for them to invite me up. We waited and stuff like that. But man, I think these days, man, guys have fallen in love with the glitz and the glamour, and that's the only side I see. I almost fell into that too. I remember one day, Ranza Thomas. Oh my God, Ranza and Will. These brothers on their anniversary. I remember one year singing in the gospel choir. Ranza, they blessed Ranza with a Lincoln time. Then one year we was down Mount Nebo. Lord have mercy. Man, they blessed with, that's when Infinity, I think, came out with a Q series. Man, that was a hot what they blessed with that car. And I was like, man, I think I'm in the wrong part of ministry. And Reb told me, say, son, he said these boys got people who love them. He said, you don't know the work that they put in and the sacrifices that they put in for their people to love them on this level and to show them that kind of love. So he said, don't you get caught up into that. And he said, if the Lord call you, then you accept the call. But don't you get caught up into that stuff. And God knows it's the truth, because I still ain't had nobody to give me the keys to a car yet.
Yeah, I want to get Uncle Will in this, and as well as Uncle Sewell as well, to give your thoughts on the difference between and this is a general statement, because I believe there's still quite a few young preachers and ministers associates that are willing to serve their pastor in church, at a moment's notice. But yet there are a lot that just don't see that as a priority. What would you say is the difference? What happened over the years? Uncle Will, Uncle Sewell, what were your thoughts?
Go ahead, Will. Well, we love Pastor.
Day, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Uncle Will.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
Well, back in the day, one of the things, one of the things that Pop instilled in us, and that was ethics, and etiquette, and how to serve. We wanted to serve. We were excited just to, like Johnny said, to just serve, man. If it meant going to get Pop a glass of water, we were excited about that, because it just made us feel like that there was something that we were being useful in ministry. I remember, and I'll never forget it, when St. Luke Primitive Baptist Church was looking for a pastor, and they had me to come in and teach Bible study every Tuesday. And I had told Pop about it, and he asked me how I was going, and I said, "Hey, man, it's growing. The people are excited." And he asked me, he says, "Is the pastor still there?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, listen, son, come on back home." And I didn't argue with him. I knew that he had my best interest, and he was a preacher's preacher, and he always reminded us that, hey, God got a pulpit for you. He's got a mountain for you. And so we were just elated to serve. And on top of that, pastors now, we got to get back to what was instilled in us, to instill it in that next generation, because like Johnny said, everybody wants the glamour. Everybody wants to be out front. Everybody wants to shine, but the real calling is serving. And the way you serve your pastor is predicated on the way God is going to elevate you. I'm finishing up a book now, and I wanted to wait to talk about it, but in my book I talk about evaluation before elevation. You just got to go through a season of being evaluated before God elevates you. And so those are things that I think is real important, because you can't expect great success overnight without putting some time in suffering.
Great. That's awesome. Uncle Sewell.
That's a great intro, let me tell you guys, I was already a pastor in the Pentecostal organization. And Pastor Jack was like we moved from Carver Ranch, and but he was always like my goddaddy, but he became like a father. I came from my wife had gotten ill, and I was pastoring a church in the Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ. Pastor Jack came and called my bishop and told him that he didn't appreciate how he was taking care of me. And Pastor Jackson took my 2 little girls while my wife was in the hospital, and I came over to Shiloh, and it was me and the girls. Let me tell you, he loved us, but in ministry, when I came to him, he explained to me, okay, you was a pastor over there, but here I had to become a minister, sit with him, learn the Baptist way, and then come up through the ranks. It wasn't hard because the way he loved us. And then he ordained me. And then during that period, if he had to go do revivals, because he did a lot of them, I was glad to drive him. If he was going to conventions, it would be him, Uncle Charlie, Roundtree. You would drive, you would carry his grip. It was an honor. And then one day I was in the pulpit and he hit me on the leg. He said, You ready to go back in the pulpit? You ready to go back in? You ready? And but he kept us all together. He made sure that the reason why you are the sons of the house is because after we went and began to pastor, then we had something called the sons of the house. And if any one of us got in trouble, Dad would call all of us boys together. And if he said, I need $1,000 from each one of you guys, it wasn't a problem. Shiloh was such a loving incubator. It was a family, and he was like our dad. I love him today. Like when Al was preaching, when his robe, I know all his robes. I got some of his attributes. So it wasn't he wouldn't let us tussle and compete per se. You would preach, we'd all meet back in the office. And here's what did he do wrong? So, and if you didn't have your points, if you cheated, then we had some fun with each other though. But as all of us, we supported one another, and he told us we had to support one another, and that's why we're together today. That's why even after he passed and left us, we carried the sons of the house on for a while with Mother Jackson.
Yeah. So I want to ask this, and this is to Pastor Al Jackson Sr. And as we close this session, first I want to thank you all for your time and for coming and hanging out with us, and just sharing. But I want to ask this, Pastor Jackson, Dad, that Uncle Sewell mentioned the Sons of the House, and I remember the Sons of the House night. Man, you remember that whip, man? Shiloh used to be packed. The Sons of the House came together, and then I remember, as Uncle Sewell mentioned, the Brothers to the Rescue, and coming back together. Pastor Jackson, what would you say is what's the key to having a brotherhood amongst the other associate ministers in a church? What's the key to be able to craft that bond, even amongst several generations? As you mentioned, you were kind of the first of the generation, and you didn't come up along with the rest of them. You were already at St. James, but yet you still connected with them even to now, and where you all have that common bond. What would you say is the key to kind of creating that and keeping that?
I just want to say I've enjoyed our conversations, our time together today. It's been very impactful for me. I've enjoyed it. Of course, Pop was the key. He was the glue. Um, he was the catalyst, and he was the factory. When somebody needed a preacher, even what Whoop said, he went over there he couldn't have done that if Dad hadn't endorsed it. We don't even know those people be calling Dad and saying, "Hey, what do you think about such and such?" Dad have to nod on that, and Dad have to give his approval on that, and and that made a difference. And so, as we bring up our associates, teaching them what we've been taught, togetherness and not dog eat dog, it's a wonderful thing. Now, I don't know, I know that God is in control, because in 2000, I almost came back to be the assistant pastor in 2000 when I was leaving St. James. I was either we had that meeting to either come north to be there with Pop as he made his run for the state presidency, or to go south down with Ferg and to take over Second Baptist. And that's how I know that God is in this, because if I would have been trying to give leadership to this crew right here, this would have been. I didn't even know all this stuff was going on. Keith told me a lot of this stuff later. I didn't even know all of this stuff that y'all talking about, and I don't think that one of us should be pastoring all of us anyway. I think that we do better as brothers than one person trying to pastor us. I like that better, and it was a better situation for me to go south than trying to come back north. I oftentimes think of Shiloh, what could have been, but everything works out as it's supposed to work out, man. And it was supposed to be like this, man. Everybody was supposed to have your own experiences. You didn't need me there, because I didn't fit into a lot of that stuff. I didn't fit into it, and it would have been awkward. But you guys got to be yourselves, and then you got to develop, and then go be your own pastors and be your own leaders. I think that's a wonderful thing, man. And so I just like to cultivate it, man. I thank you, Jack Jr., for setting us up here today. We've had one conference call early at the beginning of the pandemic that we came together and we talked. Nate sent out something recently, a feeler about doing something together. He is right. He already had started putting the feeler together of trying to bring everybody together. So that it ain't about who does it first. It's about building on it as well. And so Nate, it's really on you, Nate, for round 2 of this. and then whatever structure you want to put with it, we'll make it happen. But you, the baby boy of this group, put it together, man. Make it happen. Because when we're doing Sons of the House, we have to decide whose turn is it to preach. I think WJ might have preached the last one. Whatever story that was he told at the end of the sermon, we all was
I leaned over the grandsons, and said, I'm the youngest, and I need the grandsons' help. I think it's only really two grandsons, Martez and
right
Al
there
Jr.
together.
What else do you need? What else do you need?
I said all the older guys they gonna want me. They said they gonna want the youngest boy to put it together. So I'm calling y'all.
But listen, I think that.
Well, I've been before you consider this, Uncle Nate. I got with Uncle Al to talk to Shiloh new pastor, the guy that took over after Daddy Jackson, to see can we get the building.
Right.
And I ain't hear no more.
Montez was talking about it, but I don't think that the pastor was open to that at that time. I think it kind of died after that. But Ted wanted it to be at Shiloh, which it should have been. But I don't know if Ken killed it or what. But it didn't.
It'll be there. We're gonna make it happen. It's almost 20 years of Pop's passing, so I think it's apropos that we're gonna make it happen.
Okay.
Martez
you got it.
Clout,
you the only one that go back and preach the Shiloh every year more than everybody. You the only one go back to Shiloh every year and preach.
What you talking about? You must be talking about Al.
No, you.
Who?
Man, I preached Shiloh probably in 7 years. So you can't be talking about me.
I preached.
You must be talking about Al Senior. He preaches every year.
Yeah, I do. I preach every year. But that's building relationship. Y'all got to build relationships if you want to.
Right. Hey, you talking about I got the clout.
No privilege.
That wasn't because I was from Shiloh.
Using comments on this broadcast of not showing of the Sons of the House. It is an individualistic view.
Right.
That is shared by individuals.
We need to throw some disclaimers out here because between Keith and Martez, between Keith and Martez, we gonna all be isolated.
Johnny Barber is the doggone former moderator. He should use his influence to make.
Right.
So on that note, because I feel like we're gonna have to put out some more disclaimers. So on that note, we're gonna shut it down for today. But once again, want to thank everybody.
Red, keep away, man. See, y'all got into talking about some stuff, and Keith Butler got off the call so that he would not be associated with this portion of the conversation.
This is it.
Brother Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Brother Jackson. I failed to mention at my introduction that this year I'll be celebrating 27 years of pastoring at St. Luke Baptist Church. And also, I want all of the brothers to know, I don't know how many of you all out there that has Word Search Bible. It has now been bought out by Logos as of a month.
Keith Butler Church.
Okay. And all of your materials that you have in Word Search will be going over to Logos. Okay. I don't know what Ken said to laugh, but I'm just trying to be
so we're not talking about Keith Butler's church, Dad. We're talking about Logos Bible software.
No. Logos Bible software. Logos Bible software. It takes only Ken Johnson to do stuff like that.
Excuse me. First of all,
God bless you guys. And Al, happy 35th anniversary. And I'll remember
thank you all.
Be blessed.
So I want to thank Pastor Nate Austin, Pastor Emmanuel Whipple Sr.,
Dr. Emmanuel Whipple Sr.,
Dr. Emmanuel Whipple Sr., Pastor Johnny Barber, Pastor Joseph G. Sewell, Pastor W.J. Gaskin, Pastor Ken Johnson, Pastor Keith Butler, and Pastor Alfonso Jackson Sr. Thank you all so much for your time, and this is great. This was great. Thank you all so much. And we love you. And next week, tune in with us for another session of Tim Talk. All right? You good? All right, everybody. See y'all later.
Okay.
You don't play music after?
Love you guys.
Love you.